Hello, Fabulous Superstar Capricorn. Welcome to your horoscope for the month of January 2019. I am your astrologer, Nadiya Shah. Thank you for being here. What an amazing month it is. We have a very powerful sky for you. Capricorn Sun, Capricorn Moon, Capricorn Rising are going to feel this month in a powerful and potent way. And it really comes down to an eclipse. A week into this month, as we start a new year, we will have a powerful solar eclipse. It is going to activate Pluto and Saturn, speak in harmony with Neptune. And all of this is to say that you are set for a brand new beginning, a real shift and a change of energy in a way that you probably have not felt in a while. This is the first of a series of eclipses that are going to be in your sign and in your opposite sign as well. Now, the eclipses in your opposite sign, you started feeling them last year, but it is going to be this year that is most powerful, most potent, and it begins right out of the gate with this solar eclipse. When there is a solar eclipse in your sign, it represents a time when you are beginning again. It's like the past and who you used to be is eclipsed by the future you. And all of a sudden, a new identity forms. All of a sudden, you realize who you are. Not just who you are not or who you no longer want to be, but who you truly are, and you commit deeply to living it. Now, with a powerful eclipse like this, chances are that this is going to be a truth that resonates deeply for you and has really sweeping effects. And it is a solar eclipse like this that truly can put your entire life on a brand new path. And it has to do with something near and dear to your heart. For some of you, that is going to be a professional opportunity. For others, it's going to be more personal, more emotional. And yet for others, it's going to reach that level of identity. But regardless, it has that potential to put you on a whole new path that changes things for you dramatically. Now, if you were born right around the 10th of the month, give or take a few days on either side, you are going to feel this energy more than most. But really, regardless, every Capricorn out there is going to find themselves changed in some way as a result of the events that transpire now, as a result of what you feel now. I don't say this lightly because moments like this don't happen very often in a life, and an eclipse like this doesn't happen very often in a life either. I have told the story before when I do these videos, and when I see a particularly potent eclipse, a particularly powerful eclipse, I like to talk about what I've seen in the past. And I have seen people go through dramatic changes when there is an eclipse in their sign, and especially an eclipse like this that's happening so close to Saturn, so close to Pluto. It is a rebirth. It is you beginning again in some key way. So I have seen a few people, when they go through an eclipse like this, like they quit using drugs, for example. That's one thing, or they quit smoking pot. I remember many years ago, I worked some administrative thing, and I had a coworker, and I remember her telling me about how, one day she just woke up and she'd been very much into marijuana for many years. It was very much a part of her life. And then one day she woke up and she said, I'd had enough of it. It was done. And what a moment that was for her. She downplayed it a little bit, but I remember looking at her chart. Now, this is going back decades. I remember looking at her chart. And it was an eclipse. She had an eclipse in her sign, and she just changed. I remember one person had an eclipse like this, and they went vegan. I remember another person had an eclipse like this, and they'd been vegan for over 10 years, and they started eating meat again. I have seen people go through dramatic shifts of job, of relationship. So I don't think I'm being hyperbolic when I say this is big, okay? This really has the potential to change you in very meaningful ways, in ways that stand out to you. as a turning point in your life. Now, all of this is furthered by the fact that under the same sky, we are going to have Uranus going direct. After months of being retrograde, Uranus is going to go direct at the very foundation of your chart. It's like in an instant, you see your past differently. You see how much your family or your home life or your past or where you've been has shaped who you are, and you redefine where it is that you've been and where it is that you come from in a way that changes you today. You see the past differently, and you are liberated from the past in some key way. It is Uranus changing directions that adds this sense of suddenness to the energy of this time, that adds a sense of awakening to this time. And if all of that wasn't enough, under the same sky, Venus is going to move into the sign just before yours as well, which brings a sense of spiritual purpose and a sense of spiritual love that is with you, a sense that you are being blessed and carried forward, whether it's blessed by your spirit guides, blessed by your ancestors. In some way, it will feel on a spiritual level that the changes that are happening now are right. I'm not saying they're going to be easy. Sometimes, and not always, and not necessarily with this eclipse, because it is speaking in harmony with Neptune. But sometimes there can be some discomfort, there can be a challenging moment, there can be some pain as well. I'm sorry to say that, but that does happen sometimes when Pluto and Saturn are involved. And yet you find inspiration very quickly. And yet you know that what is happening now is representing a change that on a spiritual level you truly are ready for. Now we also have another eclipse happening after all that, and after that big energy as we start the month. There is also another eclipse taking place, and that happens about 2 weeks later, right around the 21st is when we will have a lunar eclipse. And lunar eclipses represent closures that tend to be important. Now, what's important about this particular lunar eclipse is that it is happening in a part of the sky that has to do with profound spiritual, emotional, even physical transformation. And it has to do with rebirth. And so we're seeing this theme carried out in different ways throughout this month. This is going to be the last of a series of eclipses you've been going through in this part of the sky for you for the better part of the last 2 years. So now here we are, it's the final one. It's a lunar eclipse, which represents closures and things coming full circle. And it is an important moment of change for you. And in some way, by the time we get to the end of the month, you will feel different. You will feel like you know yourself differently. You will feel that in some key way, your life is on a different path than it was before. Part of the reason is the sense of what is beginning. Another part of the reason is an awareness of what is coming to a close and what you're grateful that is coming to a close. With this lunar eclipse, sometimes it can also speak to, given where it is, it can also speak to matters that have to do with your relationship with financial institutions. And so there may be some sense of whether it is something like benefits that you've qualified for or a source of funding. That can be part of what comes to a close at this time. And it may very well be something expected. Like if you've been on, for example, unemployment benefits, it could be around this time that those benefits are coming to a close. The other way of understanding this energy as well has to do with a change to your relationship with a particular financial institution. And so it may be that you have to pay attention to a financial matter. Ultimately, when the universe asks you to pay attention to financial matters, it means that the money you need is there. And if it feels like very quickly you have to engage with an institute of a financial institution, just know that you will find your resolution, and part of that resolution will bring a certain chapter to a close and help you to feel like you are bringing something full circle and to an end as well, in a most healthy sense. Now, when it comes to matters of love this month, That lunar eclipse can speak to matters of intimacy, profound intimacy at that. You add to that Venus moving into the sign just before yours. And as we move late into the month, we'll meet Jupiter in the sky, amplifying its powers. Well, what this tells me is that this month, love is sublime for you. And love is something that may even be a little complicated for you. And love is something that feels as if you are truly wanting something that feels authentic, that feels free of the superficial. And if it isn't there, you're not going to try to tell yourself it is. For those of you who are open to meeting someone new, again, this theme is there where if you do attract new people into your life at this time, it may feel as if there's something complicated about the connection that you've made. Now, it is going to be next month that Venus is going to enter your sign. You are going to be the favorite of the zodiac where it comes to your ability to attract and to experience a sense of awakening on a love level. And so keep that in mind. That could be unfolding with someone that you meet at this time, or it could be with somebody new. But if it feels like you're connecting with someone, if it doesn't feel like the connection is there, or it feels like there's something in their life that is a little bit complicated, you'll be able to recognize it and see it for what it is. And you'll also be able to be more honest with yourself about whether this is worth pursuing or not. For those of you who are getting to know somebody, this is a lot of truth time, especially around the lunar eclipse in the second part of the month. You are really examining your feelings, why it is that you're drawn to this person, what it is that is happening between you and them. And that, in turn, you will use to better inform whether or not you want to continue with this person. Keep in mind that a lot of this energy can sometimes represent closure, can represent understanding what has served its purpose in your life. And this could be a powerful month of making the types of changes that bring closure to somebody that you are getting to know. If it doesn't feel like it's working, chances are you're not going to feel inspired to continue. For those of you in an established bond, a couple of ways I see this energy working out. One is that there could be some changes to your partner's income, especially around the lunar eclipse. The other part of this is with Venus, it may just be that you're wanting to spend more time alone with your partner and not have other people involved in your relationship, which is fine. For a very small percentage of you, if you know and have known for a while that you are not in the right relationship for you, then that will be undeniable to you with a month like this, and you will be willing to make changes. You'll be more willing than you might otherwise be to make changes on that front and to feel ready to begin again in your own right. What I love about this month for you, well, look, there's so much here to love, but I love that eclipse in your sign because at the end of the day, it is honest. It is about being true to you. And it is a truth that is undeniable. It is you ready to change, you ready to evolve, you ready to be something more. And that something more may not necessarily be convenient. It might not necessarily be easy to embrace, but it feels right. And that means that it truly is right for the person that you are now. Well, thank you so much for watching. You can get a video like this every week by logging on to nadiyashah.com. Sign up to be one of my superstars. Superstars get expanded exclusive video scopes each and every week, unlimited access to special horoscopes, and so much more. All of this in the superstar space. I look forward to meeting you there. It'll be a great month. Enjoy.